Good morning and welcome to the live Q&A. So as always, if you have any questions, you're going to post them in the comment box and I'm going to try my best to answer them. And I can't wait. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about, some of the things that we can do when things aren't like perfect. Because I do believe that a lot of people wait to sort of heal their blood sugar, wait to start working on their PCOS, wait to start working on stuff until everything feels like it's perfectly aligned. And that's just not how it works. One of the things that I recommend to all my clients and people who start working with me or who take my courses is there needs to be a little bit of pre-work in order to, start something, of course. That being said, sometimes you just have to start in order for the path to show itself to you. I have someone who commented on an Instagram Q&A that I did, and they said, it's really hard to, work on my blood sugar. It's really hard to do all of these things with people who are not doing what I'm doing and not trying to get healthy. They don't have blood sugar problems. And so they feel that their sort of backs are up against the wall. And my response is you need to do the things that are going to be the easiest, the distance that will allow you to get to your goal or at least move closer to your goal while not making your life super difficult. Because if you are in a space where, maybe the people around you aren't necessarily super supportive of what you're doing, maybe you just do things that are a little bit more discreet. So one of the things I always suggest to people as the first thing to do, I tell you this whether you work with me or not, is to start taking apple cider vinegar, start falling in love with apple cider vinegar, drink it before your meals, drink it in water throughout your day. Always use a straw because it's vinegar and you don't want to harm your teeth. But what this is going to do is it's going to create more insulin sensitivity in your body. What it's going to do is it's going to allow your body to use to mitigate the glucose spike of the things that you do, the food that you eat, the habits that you might have that might not be helping you and might be hindering you. Also, what's great about apple cider vinegar is that there is a fringe benefit of having some gut health benefits as well. So if it's raw apple cider vinegar, and if you're pregnant, you don't want to do raw apple cider vinegar. But if it's raw apple cider vinegar and you take it for your blood sugar, you're also getting a gut health benefit. And this is great because often if you have blood sugar issues, there's probably a gut thing going on too. Maybe your liver is a bit congested. Maybe there's some stuff going on with your digestion. Whatever the case, blood sugar issues tend to beget gut health issues and in the reverse. And so when you have something like apple cider vinegar in your diet that is good for your blood sugar, again, helping by 20 to 30% glucose spike, and that's amazing for your blood sugar, but it also helps your gut because if you have raw apple cider vinegar, those live bacteria are amazing for our gut flora. Now, just a reminder to everyone, if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment section below and I will do my best to answer them. So one of the things that I really do, again, think that is of benefit to everyone is finding things that you can do that are things that you can start doing right now and they don't disrupt your life too much. I'm a chef and a lot of my programs are based and rooted in the nutrition and food and lifestyle and helping you learn how to cook and do all of that. But I will say the things that you should start doing first are not really rooted in that. Again, apple cider vinegar before your meals doesn't need you to do meal planning. You don't need to get in the kitchen more. I mean, of course, those are valuable skills to have. But when you have apple cider vinegar before your meals, you are doing something that is easy. It's approachable. You can do it. And what that's going to do is, again, it's going to start to flatten your glucose curve. You're going to start to feel better in your body and have more energy. And when you have more energy, that is when you're able to sort of go deeper into your healing process. Okay, someone says, I started today to eat less carbs because I think I have insulin resistance and I ordered apple cider. So my philosophy is, again, eating less carbs if your diet is just carbs and no protein and no healthy fat, of course, is important. Yes, I will never say anything against that. That being said, carbs are good. They are not bad. You just need to be more discerning with your carbs and you need to create different habits around how you eat your carbohydrates. And that is really the center of it because carbs are good. We need them for energy. If you are a female, you absolutely need to be eating eating carbs when you are, you know, leading up to your period, if you were trying to conceive, because those are energetic rich activities. Conception, you know, menstruation, those require a lot of the body. And if you're not eating carbs, you're going to find yourself tired. And that's another thing about our blood sugar. If you don't eat enough, if you are not eating enough, you could do everything right, but you are still going to feel the effects of low blood sugar potentially, because what's happening is your body just doesn't have enough to keep the home fires burning. And that's very important for energy. And when you get low energy, that is when you start to crave things. That is when your ghrelin hormone starts to make you feel like you're hungry when you might not be. That is when you start to make bad decisions that could potentially then harm your blood sugar. And that's no good. And so again, if you have any questions throughout this Q&A, you can post them in the comment sections and I'll try to get to it. So again, apple cider vinegar is great, and eating less carbs if your diet is just carbs is fantastic, because you need to bring in more protein and more healthy fats. But I don't believe that you should just give up carbs like as a blanket statement, unless you have like celiac disease, and in which case there's carbs you can eat. You just want to make sure that you're more discerning about those carbs, and you eat these carbs in a way that is blood sugar supportive. If you are being prescribed by people to give up whole food groups, and like the way forward with your healing is like seeming really punishing and like, oh my God, this is going to be so terrible, that might not be the path forward for you. I believe if you're healing your gut, which in all my long programs, we always deal with gut health, that those are things that happen in flow. They don't happen in force. You don't force your way and push your way and constrict your way to gut health. You just don't. You often don't see long-term healing from things that are super punishing and depriving. Those are things that are fads in your life. And what I teach you is a lifestyle, but also a lifestyle that allows you to have the things that you want, to eat the things that you want to eat. But again, creating a framework and a protocol around it that allows you to still heal while also living your life. Because if you're doing things that you feel like you can't live your life, what fun is that? You still have to live life, and you only get one life to live. You want to live it well and enjoy it, and food and eating is a part of that pleasure. But how you are eating your food and the way that you're eating food, and yes, sometimes the food that you're eating is contributing to your, you know, disease and, you know, non-well-being, I don't know if that's how you say it, then it's time to change things up. But reversing type 2 diabetes is absolutely possible without medication, with food and lifestyle. But again, it takes a concerted effort, and it also takes an effort that creates sustainability and not just like, you know, I'm doing this for now. Someone says apple cider vinegar, I hate the way it tastes. So I actually have something very exciting that I'm going to tell you about in a video like later this week. And it's going to be really exciting because it's an alternative to apple cider vinegar that has the same benefits, but I can't talk about it yet because I haven't posted the video. But one of the things about apple cider vinegar is you have to jazz it up. You just do. And again, as a chef and also a nutritionist, I'm someone who can like look at it from both sides of the coin. And so I make a lot of elixirs, a lot of drinks, a lot of sparklers with apple cider vinegar that actually do taste good and yummy, because I know it can be just really harsh to like scull apple cider vinegar in water. That being said, one of the best tips I can give you for apple cider vinegar, if you're drinking that, is to add sparkling water. Like if you have a Soda Stream or something, or like San Pellegrino. I'm not a huge fan of like Bubbly and all those brands because they have a lot of like stuff in them. So I wouldn't necessarily, I tend to like the ones that are in glass bottles, like San Pellegrino, Perrier even, but San Pellegrino's the best. Anyways, that kind of takes the edge off of apple cider vinegar and like the heat score on your like palate. But yeah, you kind of just get used to it. Honestly, I've been doing it for so long that now I'm just like used to it. I take it with a straw, I drink it really, really fast, and I just like go from there. But like I said, I'm gonna have an alternative for you that's really exciting later this week. But, you know, make elixirs, add sparkling water, add citrus if you must. But drinking it before meals and like throughout your day, you know, and all of that, it can just be so beneficial. Like I said, all of my recipes and everything, I don't think I've mentioned this, that you see on my page, if you go scroll and look at videos, all of those recipes are in the Glucose Glow community, because that's where all my recipes are. And then many things live within other programs and courses. So if that's like, if you are wondering, where do I get these apple cider vinegar recipes? You can get them in the Glucose Glow Up community. How much apple cider vinegar to mix? So it's 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to 8 ounces of water if you want it for your blood sugar. It is 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to about, I don't know, like 3-4 tablespoons, like quarter cup of water for like gut health benefits. So you kind of treat them differently. But if you're drinking apple cider vinegar and you're putting it in elixirs and, you know, and it's like mixed throughout your day and you're getting a good amount, you're getting a good amount. I put it in drinks and stuff, and I always drink it with a straw. There's like an apple cider vinegar elixir in here right now. Because then all day I'm just getting like all the benefits apple cider has to offer me. Okay. What do you think about L-glutamine? I like L-glutamine. Again, it like leads like to glutathione, which is our master antioxidant. So I think it's good, but I think what the best thing to do with supplementation, if you can, is get a Dutch test, get a like a blood work done, you know, do some of that work and get some of those labs done, because that will give you a full picture of what your body needs exactly, what things your body could be potentially reacting to, and go from there. Like I think if everything works out, I'm going to be starting to offer lab testing through like my coaching, which is going to be so exciting, because then we can like really make a plan that's like totally tailored to you, because lab testing, like doing stool samples, urine samples, saliva samples, all of that kind of stuff can be really beneficial to knowing exactly what's going on with you. Because supplementation, like there's some things that if you take too much of it, it actually is a bad thing. And you don't want to create more problems when you think that you're doing something good. So lab testing can be really beneficial for like coming up with a really solid like supplemental protocol. But just as a blanket statement, L-glutamine, I like. But I don't know if I like it for you, because I don't know what your body's saying. Okay, I'm just scrolling up. Make sure I don't miss any questions. Someone says, thank you for your page. It's helping me heavily. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Next question. Do I recommend inositol for people? Are there side effects? Oh my gosh, how timely. I'm about to do a video talking about inositol. I love this brand. And berberine, the differences between and why I like both. I like inositol. I think if you're doing inositol, you need to do Myo, Chiro, and Myo, D, and Chiro. Myo and D, Chiro. Sorry. Oh my God. I can't speak. You want to do both of them in one, because you're going to get all of the benefits, because there's benefits to both that like one has, one doesn't have. So you want to make sure that you kind of get the combination. I do like inositol. Inositol is great. It can be really beneficial for creating insulin sensitivity in the body. It can lower androgen count. Like inositol is a really good, I think, thing to take. What I like about it in powder form from like a chef perspective is that it kind of has like a slight sweetness to it. So putting it in like a drink, mixing it in with a beverage kind of like boosts the sweetness without like bad things. And it actually is a good thing. So I was doing that a lot last summer, and I think I'm going to reboot that again and get some like powder inositol as well. Because I think that, look, I like that versatility. That being said, if you're someone who's like, I just want to take the inositol, capsule is great. Take it according to package directions. Every inositol is different. And see how you feel. I love berberine as well. The only thing about berberine is you don't want to take it all the time. Like you don't want to take it for like a year and a half straight. You got to take breaks at around like the, 4-month mark, then take like, a month off, because it can lead to some like gut disruption. Not for everyone, but for some people. So that's kind of the only, like, I like them both. They both lower androgen count, create insulin sensitivity, like are amazing. But berberine, you just have to be aware of like how long you're taking it for. Both great though. Okay. At what age do diabetes complications start? Diabetes complications, it really depends on where you're at, what you're doing. I am like very like passionate about teaching people how to reverse type 2 diabetes because it has had many implications on my family. Like my grandpa died from complications of diabetes, and it's a terrible thing because it is something that in my education and like research is something that we can reverse, that we have power to reverse. Type 1 diabetes is a completely different thing. And so complications can start at any time. You can lose your vision, you can lose limbs, you can have a stroke, you can have a heart attack. Like diabetes leads to so many different things. It's because blood sugar is implicated in so many different things. And the sooner you get on top of healing your diabetes, the better. Regardless of where you are, regardless of how old you are. If you're 80, you can work and reverse your type 2 diabetes and feel better in your body. If you have it and you're 25, you can reverse type 2 diabetes and feel better in your body. Like, it's not really an age thing. It's more of like strategy and like what you're doing kind of thing. So complications can start at any age for anybody, but you really want to make sure that when you find out that you have it, getting passionate about, you know, reversing it and changing your lifestyle, because that's what's really going to move the needle from a like total body wellness and vitality like perspective. Again, just to plug my thing, the Blood Sugar Fix 12-week program starts in May. We're doing many cohorts, but the first one is in May. And you can check out all the information. You can also watch my webinar. So if you click the link in my bio, there's a webinar, the Blood Sugar Fix. It's all about reversing type 2 diabetes, the 3 pillars that I recommend you start with and understand, because that will help you tremendously. So that goes deeper than what we do in these like lives. Someone wants me to show the Myo. It's Ancient Bliss. There you go. Right there. I really like that brand a lot. I mean, I work with them, but like I actually take those supplements, so I enjoy them very much. Okay, so again, when it comes to type 2 diabetes, like one of the most important things that you have to remember is this is something that, you know, whether you want to go off medication, whether you're on medication or not, like that's not what I'm here to tell you to do. But what I'm here to helpfully show you is that by working on things like your lifestyle and by changing your diet and changing how you eat, not just what you eat, but how you eat, the like framework around it, that you can impact how you feel in your body as someone who has type 2 diabetes. And often, as a result, reverse it. You don't have to chase that goal of reversal, but you can chase the goal of feeling better in your type 2 diabetes body, understanding where your spikes and where your dips come from, understanding what you need to do in order to reverse this condition in your body. Like that's where my approach is. I will never tell someone to go on or off Ozempic, to go on or off insulin. Like I'm not here to tell you what to do in that regard. But what I am here to tell you and teach you is how to work within your life to feel better, look better, and not from like a weight loss, but you just look more vibrant when you eat a whole food diet, when you drink bone broth, like when you do those things and when you heal your gut, people are like, wow, you look amazing. And it's because you're radiating health. And that is what I want for you. And I also want to help you understand your diabetes too, because I think a lot of people, it's like you eat something and you're like, what the hell? I just spiked out again. Or, oh my God, I just had a spike and then like a dip. Like, what did I do differently? What did I do wrong? And you don't really know what you did. I want to show you how to understand what's happening, but also fix what's happening as well. That's why I called it the Blood Sugar Fix. I completely changed the name this weekend. What's the difference between type 1 and type 2? So type 2 is something that develops and again is very responsive to blood sugar work, so it can be reversed. Like you can go from pre-diabetic and back. You can go from type 2 diabetes and back. But type 1 diabetes is like an autoimmune disease. So it's completely different. People who have type 1 diabetes, I don't like shoo away, but because that's rude. But I just, I would never want to hurt someone with my advice. And type 1 is so much different than type 2. And I don't even touch on it just because I don't know. Type 2 is food related and can be reversible, someone says. Yes, absolutely. And lifestyle too. Like there's a lot of lifestyle things that can happen to people that can really, throw things out of whack and change situations, which is also one of the reasons that I teach a lot of habitual changes that you can make. And like I said at the top of this live, if you weren't here, is like, sometimes the easiest changes that you can make in the beginning are not ones that are rooted in like, I have to cook like 10 times more, I have to meal plan more. Instead, they're rooted in, okay, I'm going to drink apple cider vinegar throughout my day and in my and before my meals, because that's something that you can do. It's like not putting you out too much, but it's also going to start to move the needle, because once you start to move the needle, you get energy. Once you get more energy, you can put that in more places that are bound for your healing. Someone said, I'm type 2 and 9 stone 4, and I'm now 7 stone. Any tips on how to gain a healthy weight? I'm 27. Well, I feel like if you haven't had blood work done and some GI mapping done and things like that, you absolutely should, because that can be really beneficial if you don't know what's going on. But for you, if it's like you're losing weight and if your blood sugar is spiking and dipping and a lot because you've also lost weight, I would recommend just like eating more, but eating more balanced, trying to strike the balance. Like if you're not eating breakfast, start eating breakfast, start having like a savory breakfast, start eating I have something in the Glucose Glow Up community that they're called Butterbark Bites, and they're like meant to help sustain your blood sugar in between meals. You don't need them forever, but it's just so that your body builds this trust in believing okay, we're going to eat enough at meals, we're going to get to the next meal. It's a regulation thing. I would recommend doing stuff like that. If you are losing weight, I would also start really incorporating lots of protein, lots of healthy fats. You want to give your body and your hormones what it needs as well, because that can also be leading to weight loss things. But again, I very much encourage blood work across the board. And not necessarily blood work, but also GI mapping, Dutch testing, which is urine. A urine test that you send off and get back, because it's time to become your own detective. That's unfortunate that we have to do that. I had to do that too, is you have to become your own detective in your own healing, because sometimes you're just not getting the right testing or you're not getting the right answers, and you really have to become a vigilante about your own health. But I would recommend that. So look into that. Also for everyone here, it's easier to message me personally on Instagram. I share my Instagram handle in my bio here. But if you have any other questions additionally, or I mention something and you're what? You can message me there, because that's just an easier place to respond. Truly. Okay, someone said I started exercising and my numbers dropped. I hate when the doctors are right. Exercise is fantastic. Movement, it helps your body. Muscles are one of the places that we use up the most glucose in our body, because it's we need the energy when we're moving our muscles. We're walking, we're exercising, we're doing weight training, we're swimming, whatever the case, movement. What's beautiful is that different types of movement can yield better or different results. So if you're doing something like cardio, say you eat something and then you go for a walk 10 minutes after you eat, you're going to burn up a lot of that glucose and lead to a better glucose response. That being said, when you stop with the walking, that's when the benefits stop. And when you do things like weight training, so wearing weights around your wrists or around your legs, what that does is, because you're encouraging your muscles to work even harder in a sense, you're still getting the benefit long after you stop doing the weights. You're still getting some of those glucose burning benefits. So I tend to favor weight training, that body weight resistance things, over other types of exercise, certainly for PCOS, but just in general, because what it does for your body is one thing, it's great, but also what it does for your blood sugar, it has just a more long lasting effect. And if one thing about me, I'm trying to squeeze out all the benefits I can get in one. I love a 2-for-1. Make sure that I don't miss anything. Someone said, yes, it's tiring to try and self-diagnose. It definitely is hard to self-diagnose, and it can feel very lonely, because Not a lot of people get it. Like, when you're trying to heal something, not a lot of people get it. They don't. They're just like, oh, have this with me. Or, oh, eat this with me. Oh, this one time won't hurt. It's like, ugh. You get annoyed. That being said, I think finding a community, finding people that you can heal with, so you're linking arms and you're doing it together, that's like a really powerful thing. Finding like a way to get support, whether it's online, whether it's through a course or program, whether it's through like therapy, like finding like outlets and people that kind of get where you're coming from can be really powerful, because not having a sense of like people understanding and like seeing you and understanding the journey that you're going on can actually hinder I think results and just like speed of results, because you don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of that get it. And that, I think, like, it took me a solid like 18 months to heal my body naturally. I had a full body eczema breakout from my like chest to my ankles, my arms, front of my arm, back of my arm, my whole body. Like, I was covered in it. It was terrible. And the healing process was really a lot of like dead ends, a lot of like loops, because I was kind of doing it alone. I was going to doctors, dermatologists, gaslighting, indignation, like people not getting where I was coming from. And so what I really missed, and I think what didn't like serve me and kind of like set me back, was the fact that I didn't have people to bounce ideas off of. So I did a lot of things that I didn't need to do, and I wish that I had been in a community that would have told me some of the things I had to figure out for myself. So that's why in my big program, the Blood Sugar Fix, that's why there is like a huge community support element, because I think that really matters, because you can just like lead yourself astray, and it gets really exhausting. Like you said, it can be really exhausting to like try and figure out what's going on, and then it's like not that thing, and you thought it was that thing, and you're like, oh my God, it just like it gets down. You get down bad, and I don't want that for you. Someone says, are you a nurse or a health coach? I am not a nurse. I am a chef, so I'm professionally trained, and I'm also a nutritionist. So I actually took nutrition training simply because I wanted to like have like a competitive advantage as a chef. I was like, I make healthy looking, nice food. I'll get into the nutrition space. And then I kind of just used it sparsely until I found myself sick with this eczema the aforementioned eczema. And so I was really lucky, because having done both types of training, I was able to look at a lot of the studies and a lot of the science that I share in the Blood Sugar Fix. I was able to look and find those studies and understand them and interpret them because of my nutrition training, and be able to understand what they were talking about, the theory behind it. And then having done chef training and being a chef, working as a chef in various ways, I was able to take all of that theory and like apply it and like create recipes and like protocols and things for myself, and then as an offshoot now, things for my clients and in my programs that actually do work, and they're like easy to make. Like, I also empower you with like meal planning tips and strategies. So I kind of try and marry both sides of the coin, because there's a lot of information out there about what to do. Don't eat this, this works. But sifting through that can be kind of a nightmare. There's also not a lot of trainings and things and programs out there that do both the theory and the theoretical application, and then also helping you fuse it with your life and with how you eat and with your food. That's where all of this is based, because that's like my area of expertise, but it's also the thing that has the most impact. We are eating at least 3 times a day. For most of us, sometimes it's more. And that every time we take a bite of food, we are impacting our bodies, not just our blood sugar, but our fertility, our reproductive health, our immunity, our brain health. We are having those impacts. And it's not just about what we're eating in those moments. It's about how we are eating those foods in those moments. And that is where all of this conjoins in my business and in all the things that I offer you. So that was a long-winded, because I'm super long-winded, way of answering your question. Are there any questions? Any more questions? If there aren't any more questions, I will end this live for today. I'm going to be doing a lot of lives over the next couple of weeks. Again, if you have any questions that are like really pertinent and like personal, you can ask me them on Instagram at bianca.osborne. Someone says, how can I figure out my metabolism and the rate at which my body processes food? that is 100%, like I said to the person before, you will find that information out if you do like Dutch testing, GI mapping, etc. I would love to help you guide you through that, but I'm just waiting on some things to see if I'm able to actually start doing these labs for people. If I can, then it's like a game changer. If not, I will be able to tell you where to go. So again, that's a really good thing. Message me on Instagram and I will get you some names. But that's like the best way to figure out. You got to look at what's going on inside. You got to look at like those types of metrics. It's very hard to figure out what's going on with your metabolism and how your body processes food without looking at what's going on like under a microscope from the inside. So those types of tests are so invaluable. Blood testing won't really help you in that way. It's more like Dutch testing, which is urine, or stool sampling, which is poo. So yeah, that. Are there any more questions? Oh, your doctor, she said, thank you, my doctor just told you to eat cinnamon. Wow, how one-dimensional and not very much of an answer. So, cinnamon will certainly help with your metabolism, but that's not necessarily like because there could be other reasons for why your metabolism is slow that cinnamon isn't going to fix. And so getting some of these tests, and I will mention, a lot of these tests, a lot of these labs, whether you eventually go through me or you go through someone else, are going to cost you out of pocket. Your doctors are not testing for these things. But there's so much more that can be going on inside that just like cinnamon doesn't fix. So if you ever go to like another thing that we do a lot in my program is the mindset piece, is the empowering you to take your agency back, because it can be really hard when a doctor, some person you're looking to and you're like, help me. And they're like, yeah, just eat cinnamon and that will fix your metabolism. And you're like, that feels wrong. And they just like leave you with that. You have to, at that point, power up yourself and either become a sleuth and find other practitioners that are going to give you more answers, or you have to stand up to that doctor or practitioner. I recommend the first, because then you are going to be working with people that are going to be supportive of your decisions and your choices and uplifting, and that is very important as well. But if you are working with a doctor or even a naturopath and you're like, this is not working, they are not listening to me, that is your intuition telling you find someone else. Because if they're telling you there's nothing you can do, absolutely nothing you can do, that person is lazy. And you need to find someone else who is ready to lock arms with you and go on that journey with you. I hope to be one of those people. I'm not the only person, but I hope to be one of those people that helps you, because quite frankly, you sometimes aren't going to get the support you want from your primary caregiver that's been like your doctor forever. You kind of might need to go outside and seek it. Is ginger good for insulin resistance? Ginger is great. Ginger is fantastic. It's actually amazing for inflammation. And if you have insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and you're consistently having blood sugar spikes or dips or reactive hypoglycemia, all of it, you are having inflammatory responses as a result of that. And that causes damage in the body. Ginger is fantastic because it's anti-inflammatory and can help repair some of that damage that has been done. In the Blood Sugar Fix 12-week program, it's under 3 pillars. So the first pillar is all about blood sugar, how to stop those blood sugar spikes and dips from happening. Because once you stop those, that's when you can start to really get into the healing, because you have to stop having those recurring, like maybe 3 times, 4 times a day blood sugar events. Because once you stop that, your body has more energy to move into an actual healing and like reverse type 2 diabetes phase. Because then the next step is gut health. That's like second pillar of the Blood Sugar Fix 12-week program. Because if you are finding that your blood sugar does not stay balanced, there's probably something going on with your gut. Your liver might be congested and it's not a good detox pathway at that moment. Your stomach might not be able to do what it needs to do, and therefore glucose stays in your system because there's nowhere for it to go. We work on that. We boost the gut health and the gut function. And then it's about the inflammation. So that's where things like ginger come into the mix. So just saying, is ginger good for insulin resistance? Yes, it is. But that is not giving you the full answer. The full answer is you have to work on your blood sugar, making sure the blood sugar spikes and dips don't happen. It's more like this. It's nice and consistent. You have to fix the gut and heal the gut and resolve anything that happened there. And then also heal the damage, the inflammation, reverse that. So multi-pronged approach. And like I say to people who join my programs and work with me, reversing type 2 diabetes and, PCOS and like all of those things, it's like, if you're wanting to do it naturally, it's not necessarily going to come easy, but once you're on the other side of it, it's your lifestyle and it actually is easy, but it's not going to come easy, if that makes sense. If there's no other questions, I'll be back tomorrow for another Q&A, another topic. Today we're talking about sort of like, at the beginning. And again, all of these can be viewed on my YouTube. The link is in my bio. The thing today was sort of talking about like the easy things that you can do, like apple cider vinegar, moving your body, getting into it, because that is my course expensive? I mean, I think it's highly valuable. It's 12 weeks and there's like so much to offer. But what I will suggest to you, if you want to learn all about the course, but you also want to learn the 3 pillars to reverse type 2 diabetes, is click the link in my bio and there is a free webinar. It's called the Blood Sugar Fix. Fix your blood sugar this year. And I will talk about those 3 pillars and all of the things that you can do, how to fix these problems and solutions. I love solutions, but I don't think it's expensive. It's $1,000, like $1,100 Canadian, because I'm in Canada, paid in full. And there's also a payment plan. So, I mean, I think it's great. It's going to be so great. And I just like love doing this because, like I said, I lost someone to diabetes, someone very important to me. It was completely preventable. I've had people in my family have diabetes. Like, I want to be a circuit breaker, generational circuit breaker, for my family, but also for your family too. So, hoping to help. Okay, well, I will see everyone tomorrow. And thanks for all your questions. And if you want to watch this back, this will be live on my YouTube tomorrow morning. So, see you later.